Mighty Ape is Australia's entertainment and pop culture superstore with everything from movies, music, games, toys, books, hobbies and more. Mighty Ape is your one-stop shop for the things that matter most. They constantly have hot deals and exclusive promos. And if you visit their website on the click-through banner on fakechef.net's homepage, then your purchase will help support Good Movie Monday. Mighty Ape, Australia's entertainment and pop culture superstore.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning!
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
You mean to wish me a good morning? What do you mean that it is a good morning whether I want it or not?
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God!
Hey everyone, hope you're well. Thanks for checking in with us today. You're listening to Good Movie Monday, the podcast presented by fakeshemp.net. My name's Glenn. The guy over there is Keith.
Howdy.
How are you?
I'm going well, man.
Good to hear, mate. Well, we are movie geeks, and we'll be spending the next hour cramming your ear holes with movie stuff. So stick around because we have an exclusive interview on this episode with Jason Lei Howden. He's the director of GUNS AKIMBO, which is a new ultra-violent, ultra-cool shoot-'em-up film starring Daniel Radcliff and Samara Weaving. And he's going to give us all the hot goss and the insight into how that film came about. And it is an absolute doozy.
Starring the great man, Daniel.
What a legend, mate.
Well,
this guy is like...
The man with a scar.
He's a force to be reckoned with, mate.
He is.
Also coming up, we have our regular home entertainment report with Jarrett Gunn's substitute, Ben Helwig from Monster Pictures. The chairman of the Australian Film Critics Association, Adam Ross, will be reviewing the Creature feature Crawl, which recently landed on streaming. And the guy with all the goss, Guillermo from Screen Realm, will be giving you the rundown on what's been happening over the past week in movie news.
The boys.
The boys. Speaking of movie news, mate, he's going to be reporting on possibly the saddest news of the year as far as I'm concerned, the passing of a comedy titan.
Yes.
And every time something would go wrong, I would look at the camera and say, "Hey, what happened?" We had a lot of fun with that and a lot of other catchphrases. "I got a real red wagon," and "I can't do my work." And I believe I was the first one to use the phrase, "I don't think so." But it only lasted a year, and that's good because that's how you establish a cult.
Yep, that's right. Comedy legend Fred Willard has died. We're talking about the man who didn't know how not to be funny.
Yeah, that's right. It was his default setting.
It was. This guy couldn't open his mouth without being
That's
hilarious. And this is what blows my mind. His career spanned an incredible 61 years.
Amazing, yeah. He was 81, was he?
He was 86.
86, there you go.
In my mind, this guy was in his late 60s, maybe early 70s.
Yeah, yeah.
Just- It wasn't that long ago that Mighty Wind was sort of, up there with,
Absolutely. Yeah, it's gone quick.
this, I don't know why, but this news has really rattled me.
It has. It's affected you, Glenn. It's got you right in the middle, you know?
Right in the feels, mate.
That's right.
Look, this guy's credits, if you don't know him, you should. The quote that I played just before should give it away. This guy's been in everything, but I think it's safe to say that most people probably know him best from those Christopher Guest films.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Gums.
Am I seeing right? Where's she putting her hands now?
She's just checking out the dog's testicular area to make sure that everything is intact.
Hate to go out on a date with Judge Edie Franklin, have her judge me. That'd be no fun.
And that's all him. I mean, they just put the camera on him, turned it on, and let it roll.
He's off and running.
Yeah, and as I said, absolute legend. So, Fred Willard, we wanted to take this moment to salute you, sir, and maybe just carry on with a little bit of conversation about maybe one of his films. So those Christopher Guest ones I said, this is Spinal Tap was the granddaddy of them all, directed by
Yes.
Rob Reiner. It started the whole franchise, for lack of a better word. But then there was Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, For Your Consideration, Mascots. They even did a TV show called Family Tree on HBO.
Yeah, well, okay.
But before we get stuck into the rest of the show, would you like to pick one of those films?
Well-
We'll just have a little bit of a chat about it.
Well, how about, look, it'd be reticent of me to not pick This is Spinal Tap. A Stone Cold classic.
A little bit predictable.
Yeah, indeed. But you knew you wanted to talk about it, mate. That's why you asked.
Yeah, well, let's do that.
Yeah.
This is, like I said just a second ago, this is a movie that redefined a genre or created a
Created
genre.
one, I'd say, yeah.
Nothing like it before other than serious rock and roll documentaries.
That's right, yeah.
Where to start on this one? Well, Rob Reiner put him on the map.
Rob Reiner, yeah.
Obviously, the best thing about the film was the fact that these guys are real musicians.
Yeah.
And they tapped into a genre. I think they actually saw a rock and roll documentary that was just unintentionally hilarious.
Yeah.
and thought they would do it. And I believe the birth of the characters began on a sketch show that they were doing.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, who was it? Might have been Harry Shearer was already assuming that character in Michael McKean's band.
Yeah, okay.
Like, so this kind of already existed.
Yeah, it existed.
In a roundabout way. But, I mean, what are your memories of this film? Like, where does it stand with you as far as the great comedies go?
Oh, it's a great film. It's not one of my favourite comedies. Like, I think it's hilarious. I enjoy it. I probably saw it first when I was about 13, 14. Probably pretty typical when I was getting into the bands.
Yep.
I think it's a great film. I'd already seen Best in Show, actually, when I was a kid. So I sort of had a reference for that style of mockumentary type cinema.
Yeah.
But seeing this is next level. It's hilarious. I knew the name Spinal Tap. I actually thought they were a real band.
So many people do.
There's a famous story of Noel Gallagher. He took his brother to see Spinal Tap at some venue in America, and Liam didn't realise that they weren't real, and he left when he found out, which is hilarious. But,
a lot of people don't know that they're a fake band.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, they're not a fake band in the sense that they tour.
They like the Blues Brothers,
Exactly right. They're a character band.
Pump out some tunes, yeah.
Amazing.
But it's a hilarious film. I do believe most of it was improv. Is that correct?
Almost all of it.
Yeah, which is I find amazing.
I think if my memory serves me well, I think Rob Reiner was the spearhead behind it, and he was granted $60,000 to write the script for this film.
Okay.
I mean, having a famous dad who is also a comedy titan probably helps secure that kind of funding.
Help get the $60K.
Yeah, but, they decided very early on that they couldn't possibly write a script for it, that it needed to be improvised.
Yeah.
And so they essentially gave all of the actors history on character, liner notes. They knew how to go from A to B. They knew where they needed to get to.
Yeah.
But each actor had to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, amazing.
It is. It is just a sensational film.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the sequel? There was a quasi-sequel.
I never did.
Well, in my mind, there's two, but there's one called Return of Spinal Tap,
Okay.
which is like a 1992 concert film where they played at what's the Royal Albert Hall.
Royal Albert Hall, yeah.
And in between songs, they decided to film new segments and intercut it with all these sort of new developments on where the band is at. And
Yeah.
Rob Reiner returns, but you've also got David Bowie's in there.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I
So
should check
it's
that
just
out.
the unknown sequel.
Yeah.
But I think A Mighty Wind is possibly a sequel.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the Folksmen that these guys play in that is essentially the same band that originated Spinal Tap in the...
Just different chins.
Great tunes. Great tunes. Oh,
I'll pay that, yeah.
Yeah, but Spinal Tap, just absolutely legendary. Fred Willard was in it, it's, where it all started for him as far as becoming a bit of an improv legend.
Bit of a genius. With
Anyway,
improv. Yeah.
I could probably gush over him for a long time.
Good.
But we should move on. Jared is still away, so Ben Hellwig from Monster Pictures, a.k.a. Coach, is back for another week to let you know what's hitting home entertainment this week.
G'day sports fans, Coach here, filling in for Jack Garn once more on this week's PE Class, Australia's premier physical media report. Madman Home Entertainment kicked things off this week with their release of Jason Lei Howden's manic video game-esque mediation on internet trolling, Guns Akimbo, starring Australian darling Samara Weaving and that kid from Harry Potter. What was his name again? Elijah Wood, was it? Anyway, available on DVD and Blu-ray, this release is sadly featureless, but if you head over to monsterfest.com.au this week, you can go into the running to win one of 20 copies of the Blu-ray by simply stating which is your favourite video game-based movie and why. Just tell them Coach told you to say the Mario Brothers movie, because plumbers helped the shit go down, for an extra special chance to win. Viavision Entertainment launched their new imprint label this week with 5 special edition Blu-rays of 5 classic films from yesteryear. Each one comes with a host of extras as well as a limited edition slipcase with alternate art. First up is The War of the Worlds from 1952. Based on the H.G. Wells novel and most recently remade as a TV miniseries by ITV in the UK, this deluxe edition features all the extras that were present on the Paramount Special Edition DVD from the mid-2000s. Commentary by Gene Barry and Anne Robinson, another commentary by Joe Dante, Bob Burns and Bill Warren, a making-of documentary, a featurette on H.G. Wells, and the original Orson Welles' War of the Worlds radio drama. This edition also includes an all-new commentary by film critics Kim Newman and Barry Forshaw. A very nice package indeed. Continuing the classic sci-fi thread is I Married a Monster from Outer Space, which was originally released as part of a double feature with The Blob. Presented in glorious 1080p and sporting a deluxe slipcase with alternate artwork limited to the first 1,000 units, this edition also features a commentary by film critics Kim Newman and Barry Forshaw, a theatrical trailer and a photo gallery. If squirming, scantily clad Earth ladies being penetrated in every orifice by slimy, tentacled aliens get your juices flowing, look elsewhere, perv. This film was made in 1958, and thanks to the Hays Code, we had to wait until the 70s to see that kind of filth and depravity. Whilst not as downright terrifying as Don Siegel's similarly themed Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which came out 2 years before, this film still packs a whole lot of punch in its 77-minute running time and comes highly recommended. Next up on the imprint release slate is the classic Barbara Stanwyck film noir, Sorry, Wrong Number. Adapted for the screen from a radio play of the same name by Lucille Fletcher, this box office smash hit was originally released in 1948 and directed by Anatole Litvak. This sparkly new edition comes with an introduction by film noir historian Eddie Mueller, a previously unreleased making-of documentary, and a commentary by Film Noir Foundation board member Alan K. Rode, and a Sorry, Wrong Number radio play, though whether it's the original Agnes Moorehead version or the Lux Theatre redo with Barbara Stanwyck is unclear at this time. Ridley Scott's debut feature, The Duelists, is the fourth imprint release this week, starring Harvey Keitel and Keith Carradine. No, not the one from Kung Fu. Or the one from Revenge of the Nerds. It's the other one, the other Carradine, the proper one. The Duelists is set during the Napoleonic Wars and centres around two army officers who spend their spare time attempting to kill each other with rapiers, sabres and pistols for shits and giggles. This edition includes separate commentaries by Ridley Scott and composer Howard Blake, an isolated score track, an interview with Keith Carradine, no, not the Kung Fu one, or the one from Revenge of the Nerds. The other one, the proper one, the proper Carradine. There is also an interview with Ridley Scott and Kevin Reynolds and a poster and photo gallery. The final film on the Viavision slate this week is Waterloo, starring Rod Steiger and Christopher Plummer. Featuring the least amount of extras in the imprint line so far, this Blu-ray comes with a theatrical trailer and an interview with film historian Sheldon Hall. It's unclear yet whether Viavision have plans to release other films based on hit ABBA songs like Dancing Queen, Fernando, or Aha! The Voulez-Vous story. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And on that bombshell, that's it from the coach this week, and potentially forever, as Jarrett Gunn will be back next week with more scintillating physical media release news. So, for now, this has been PE Class, and remember kids, as Rose Nyland always says, you can walk a herring to water, but you have to walk really fast or he'll die. Now hit the deck and give me 50 push-ups. Coach out.
So this is what we've come to, starved of a social life, no cinema culture,
No.
trapped in our homes. Look, last week we spoke about the rise of the Zoom videos by celebrities. You know, movie cast reunions, they're sprouting up everywhere. The latest trend that's sort of popping up from nowhere is celebrity recommendations. Media outlets pretty much resorting to asking filmmakers and actors what their top 5 quarantine films are. There's nothing left to report.
Yeah.
So, Keith, I'm thinking I want to play a bit of a game.
Sure.
I don't know how this is going to pan out.
No, neither do I.
You don't even know what it is.
No, I don't.
I'm thinking if I give you a few director names,
Yep.
maybe you could try to guess a couple of films they might recommend in quarantine.
Okay. No, yeah.
Or
okay.
would you prefer me to read out some film titles and you guess the director?
Now, give me the directors' names. Let's see what
Okay.
see what we can do.
Well, I've got 4.
Okay.
And as far as I'm concerned, 2 of them come off like complete wankers. All right, so we'll start with the first wanker.
It's going to be like my film taste, Dan or Core.
It might be.
go
You
on.
might love this.
Yeah, go on.
Barry Jenkins, the guy who made Moonlight and If Beale Street Could Talk.
Ah, Barry. Okay. All right. If this sounds inappropriate, give me some strong listener feedback. Boys in the Hood.
Nah.
Okay. Okay. Barry Jenkins, Moonlight. Did you like Moonlight? Just quickly. No.
No.
Okay.
I loved Beale Street.
I haven't seen that yet. Okay. Barry Jenkins. I'm gonna go. Yeah. I'm gonna go Rain Man.
No.
No.
I mean, this is a hard game.
Not even
granted.
close?
No.
Give me some sort of clue.
Okay.
Oh, give me a director of a film maybe that he's recommended.
Steven Soderbergh?
Soderbergh. Okay. Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
Nope.
More recent.
Yep.
How about Behind the Candelabra?
No.
Oh, I see Moonlight. I thought I could have been onto something.
You might have been, but you weren't.
Oh, I'm going to go one more, and then you can just tell me.
All right.
Traffic.
No.
Okay.
So that one was Solaris.
Are you kidding?
No.
He recommended the Soderbergh version of
Yes.
Solaris.
Yes.
Wow, Barry.
All right. What about we'll do one more of his.
Yeah.
Directed by Robert Altman.
Okay. Altman. Not Gosford Park.
Nope.
Nashville.
Nope. One more guess.
I'm gonna go. I'll go your favourite shortcuts.
Nope.
What was it?
The Company.
The Company.
It's one of those really small ones he made about a ballet company.
Ah, Barry.
In the 2000s.
Yeah,
but
of
the
course.
other films he recommended, like I haven't even heard of some of these. I have heard of Train to Busan,
Yeah, I've heard of
the
that.
recent Korean one.
Yes.
Mid-August Lunch,
Haven't heard of that. Sounds
Neither have
terrible.
I,
Sounds
yeah.
diabolical.
2008. Cellar and Spades,
Oh, gosh, no.
Oslo, August 31st.
Is that the that's not the Greengrass film about the massacre?
Possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, no. That's
something-
July 11th
yeah,
or whatever.
okay.
All right, moving on from
Yeah.
Barry. What a wanker.
Barry,
All
thanks, mate, for your
All right,
contribution.
the next wanker on the list. Tell me, tell me some films that Wes Anderson might recommend.
No. Wes. Okay. Wes. What's Wes going to recommend? Probably his own cinema, let's be honest. I reckon Wes... is Wes going to recommend Kubrick?
No.
No.
I will be honest with you here. I don't think I've heard of any of these except for one.
Are there any foreign titles?
Yeah.
What about Jacques Tati? Like Playtime, all that
No,
sort of
but
stuff?
there's
No?
a film from 1935, 1940, 1932, 1962.
Which one do you reckon I would have heard of?
Do the Right Thing.
Okay, yeah.
Of the more contemporary
Yeah.
ones. But then after that, look, have you heard of Alice Adams?
No.
Story of Chikamasu,
Oh, gosh.
The Passionate Friends,
No.
What Price Hollywood. Seriously, they're recommending films for quarantine that no one in their right mind would have heard of and probably can't access.
Yeah, where are you going to find them? I was just about to say, where's son?
So, two legends of cinema that have better taste.
Yeah, go on.
Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's going to recommend some quality.
Well, I think you might be surprised. Quality, definitely.
What, your type of quality? Well, okay, he's going to recommend... Is he going to recommend The Irishman?
Nope.
Because I know he loved The Irishman.
He did.
What about The Godfather?
Nope.
Okay. I'm disappointed, Guillermo. Oh, far out. Can you give me a director? Like that he's recommended?
Yes, Hitchcock.
Hitchcock. Okay. Oh, he's going to recommend Vertigo.
No.
No. Let me think. Marnie.
Nah.
Strangers on a Train.
Nah. Rear Window.
Rear Window.
All right, Gene Kelly directed one.
Oh, Not Singing in the Rain?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a giveaway.
Yeah, it was.
And then Il Postino.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Girlhood and Tomboy. Not Tommy Boy, Tomboy.
Damn, showing your hand a bit there.
All right,
son.
final one. Because this segment is really sinking.
Yeah.
And no, it's not a James Cameron film.
No.
Darren Aronofsky.
Oh, gosh.
So I've got 5 films written down for him.
Oh, he's a
And
cool.
this man has taste by the sounds of it.
Do you like Darren?
Yeah, I don't mind him.
Yeah.
Don't love him.
Nah, same. Hit and miss for me,
Yeah.
Daz.
I mean,
All right.
when it comes to Black Swan and The Wrestler, I think amazing. But
Yeah.
outside of that, yeah.
Yeah, you take it away, big Darren. Okay, he's got amazing taste.
Do you want me to reel off some directors?
Yeah, go on.
Coen Brothers.
Coen Brothers. Okay, he's going to recommend Blood Simple.
Nope.
Well,
This one is almost Aronofsky-esque.
Not No Country.
Nope. One more guess.
Dog Darren. Okay. Let me not Oh Brother.
No, Barton Fink.
Oh, of course.
I love Barton Fink.
Barton Fink's good. Yeah.
That's great. What about a Kurosawa film?
Not Dreams.
No,
Is it Ikiru? Yeah, the one on the
Nope.
swing.
I do. That's a great image.
Rashomon.
Yes.
Ah,
You
go
got
on.
one.
I go on.
Woo.
Dazza.
And the other two were Amelie,
Oh, yep.
which I love, and Total Recall.
Total Recall. What?
Yeah.
Not the remake.
No.
Darren, I'll give Darren. I'm going to give Darren the points there for that. I feel like he had the solid recommendations. Where's your joke, son?
Now, I was never into folk music. I'd worked some bills with some folkies, you know, put him in the cell with a long hose on him, put him in the cell with a long hose on him. And I used to say, if he's got a long enough hose, he's going to have a lot of friends in the shower room. Folk audiences hated that joke.
We spoke about Tom Hanks's new film Greyhound a while back. On
Yes.
one of our earliest episodes. Probably episode 2, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe even episode 1. Well, guess what? It's heading straight for digital.
It is. So his dreams of it being a future World War II classic are probably
Well,
diminishing.
Yeah, it's been picked up by Apple TV. They've snagged the exclusive rights. I mean, this is a massive blow. I mean, the film never looked great to begin with, but it looked like a spectacle.
It looks like, yes, that is a word you could use.
But it looked like the kind of film I would enjoy on a grand scale.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a couple of beverages, got the boys over.
Because I would imagine, I mean, having not seen it, I can't presume, but I would imagine coming away from it thinking, you know what, at least we saw it on the big screen.
Yeah.
And now...
Now it's probably because his mate Steven's involved with Apple. He's bailed him out,
Yeah, well, I guess now it's a movie.
It is a movie, yeah. Sorry, Tom.
Speaking of, well, this is a really poor segue, but Tom Hanks and Oscars.
Yes.
We produced a video last week talking about the Oscars, all right?
Quality bit of entertainment.
Since we produced that, the Academy have announced that they're considering the postponement of the 2021 ceremony entirely.
Yes. So there would be no Oscars for this year at all.
Doesn't look like it. The broadcast was scheduled for February 28th, and the date remains uncertain at this point, but I guess the pandemic essentially has made every film ineligible.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, like, assuming cinemas open, let's say they were reopened at the end of the year, you'd have to have, there'd only be a finite amount of films that would be eligible because they're the only ones getting released.
Yeah, the rules are you need a theatrical release. A lot of films, the release dates have been pushed beyond the deadline for the Oscars.
Yeah.
So who the hell knows? Interesting times. I guess we'll report back on that when we know it.
That's right, unless, they decide to drop a bunch on streaming. I doubt. So maybe there'll be no Oscars. Maybe that'll be refreshing.
Maybe they will open the door to platforms.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That it's suddenly just maybe for this year only, platforms are contending. Maybe
the Oscars will finish them off.
It could.
They could be. Maybe the Oscars have been postponed for the last 20 years. Let's be honest.
Well, I'm sure Guillermo will probably update us a little more about that stuff on his Screen Realm segment. So maybe we should find out.
Yes.
What's happening, everybody? It's Guillermo here again from ScreenRealm.com, Australia's favourite entertainment website covering all things movies and television. Happy to be back on another episode of Good Movie Monday. Hope everyone's taking care of themselves out there. Let's take a look at a little bit of what we've covered on the website in the past week. And following on from what Glenn said, yes, the Oscars may be delayed. As was first reported by Variety, even though the 93rd Oscars aren't until February, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences is considering postponing the big night. Although nothing official has been announced, there's a big chance that the Oscars will be delayed because of COVID-19, the fact that so many films haven't been able to hit theaters. They recently even changed their Oscar eligibility rules. For this year, films released digitally can qualify if the studio had originally planned a theatrical release. So as these theatrical releases get delayed further and further, there's a big chance that a lot of the Academy won't even be able to check out the films, so stay tuned for more on that end. And it's official, Release the Snyder Cut has prevailed. That's right, Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League will actually be seeing the light of day. The new version will be released on upcoming streaming service HBO Max, which is set to launch in the US on May 27. While no exact release date has been announced, it will be released in 2021. So next year, we'll be able to see what Zack Snyder originally intended. When Snyder left Justice League, ultimately because of a family tragedy, he did so with a hard drive containing what was essentially the blueprint of his cut, although without any post-production work such as visual effects, score, additional dialogue, etc. Hollywood Reporter sources estimate the budget of finalizing the cut will be at around the 20 million to 30 million range, but there are plenty of other questions we have, such as will it be released as a film per se? There are whispers that HBO Max may be looking to release the cut in 6 parts, formed into an episodic structure. Snyder's original preferred cut was close to 4 hours in length, but it remains to be seen if this becomes even longer or shorter once it's finalized for HBO Max. 2021 will also see Snyder release his Netflix zombie film Army of the Dead, so 2020 can just wrap it up already. Ruby Rose has quit the CW series Batwoman. Yes, the Aussie star has decided to leave the series mere days after the first season finale. It was a surprise to say the least, as the show had its second season greenlit in January. The statements from all sides didn't shed light on why exactly the departure was happening, but there are a couple of reports coming out that could be revealing a little more. Variety sources claim her departure stemmed from an ill fit between the star and the production, and that Rose was unhappy with the long hours required of her as the series lead, which led to friction on set. TV Line sources had similar things to say, suggesting that her unhappiness with the hours caused friction during shooting. Interestingly, they also say that the split wasn't 100% her decision. Be sure to go to Screen Realm, where we've covered that story in much more detail. Andy Weir, author of The Martian, has a new book coming out, and Ryan Gosling is already attached to star in the film adaptation. Quite a big project is coming together here. The Lego Movie and 21 Jump Street helmers Phil Lord and Chris Miller will be directing and producing the still untitled film, which will have Ryan Gosling back in space after recently playing Neil Armstrong in Damien Chazelle's drama First Man. The book is being referred to as Project Hail Mary and is described as a solitary tale of an astronaut on a spaceship who is tasked with saving the planet. Ridley Scott took Weir's The Martian to the big screen in 2015. The Matt Damon starring film became Ridley Scott's biggest film ever, raking in $630 million worldwide. Now this is an interesting one. Michael Bay is set to produce what looks to be the first major film to be shot in Los Angeles since the coronavirus pandemic shut much of the city down. Set to begin production in just 5 weeks is Songbird, a pandemic thriller reportedly in the vein of Cloverfield and Paranormal Activity. The plot will be set 2 years in the future, with the virus continuing to mutate and lockdowns reinstated after the situation becomes more deadly still. We'll be following characters as they react to a governmental conspiracy during lockdown. This is going to have an interesting shoot. As per Deadline, there will never be people in a room together, and social distancing rules will be carefully followed. Scenes will be shot after the crew has come in to prep the shots, and there won't be any scenes where actors engage face to face. The film will be directed by Adam Mason, known for Into the Dark and Hangman, and he'll be working from a script he co-wrote with Summon Boys, known for Misconduct. Scream 5 is on the way, and one of the original cast members is ready to face the mask again. David Arquette, who played Dwight Riley, aka Dewey, in all 4 of the previous Scream movies, has signed up to reprise the role in a new entry in the successful slasher franchise. This will be the first Scream entry not to be directed by Wes Craven, who passed away in 2015. At the helm for round 5 are Matt Bettinelli Olpin and Tyler Gillett, directors of Devil's Due and 2019's well-received horror film Ready or Not. That's about it from me, guys. Be sure to also go to ScreenRealm.com for the June schedule for both Stan and Netflix. We've got all the release dates there. Make sure you also jump on our win section for the latest giveaways. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm out.
What a wicked little tune that one is. That song is Enter the Game by Ines Rotoff, who is the composer for the Guns Akimbo original soundtrack. And I think that's an absolute belter. So Guns Akimbo, anyway, is a new film starring Daniel Radcliffe and Samara Weaving. If you're a fan of movies like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World or Hardcore Henry or even Gamer and The Running Man, then this one is a banger that should really do it for you. The basic premise has a nerdy video game developer waking up with guns literally bolted to his hands. He finds himself an unwilling participant in a global live-streamed game of Dare, and given his docile nature, he can't escape the violence because it is attached to him. So it's a really cool concept. And I spoke with director Jason Lei Howden recently about the film, and he explains where the origins come from. So I think let's take a little listen to it. This is part 1 of my conversation with him. Hope you guys enjoy. Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Very good, man.
That's good to hear, mate. Congratulations on the film. I had a great time with this one.
Oh, that's great. It's great to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for you taking the time out to talk with me tonight. I know you're probably really busy.
Yeah, it's Friday evening here, so yeah, you've caught me after beer o'clock. Ask me anything. I'll just no, seriously.
Well, cheers to you. So I wanted to start with the title itself, Guns Akimbo. It's a great title, and I think it fits the story brilliantly. Where did the name come from?
You're the first person that's asked me, and it's crazy because I'm itching to tell someone as well. So it's kind of a general term, sort of a film trope, gaming term for someone John Woo style who holds 2 weapons, right? It's like 2 handguns or 2 Uzis or whatever. But it stemmed from this video game called Blood 3D that I used to play back in the 90s. It was sort of like a Doom sort of game. And it had this power up. So you're running around with say a machine gun or a shotgun, and then you get this power up called Guns Akimbo, and then you suddenly pull out 2 guns, and for 30 seconds you just blow away all the enemies with two guns. And it was fantastic. I love, obviously, from seeing the film, you can tell that I'm a video game lover. So and I don't know, no one really questions the title Guns Akimbo. That sounds sort of catchy. There was talk of them changing it at one point, but thankfully it managed to remain the same.
Well, I'm really glad they kept it because what do they call that genre? It's like gung fu or something like that.
Exactly. There was what was that movie in the early 2000s with Christian Bale? Oh, that was
Equilibrium.
Yes, exactly. That had some amazing gun fu.
Geez, I reckon you've sort of answered my next question because I was going to ask you where the story came from and how long it had been gestating in your mind.
I think I had a sort of a synopsis around 2010, and people have said don't tell people you've been working on it that long, but it's one of those things where it was sort of gestating for since then, and initially I was trying to get it made as a New Zealand Film Commission short film, and they turned it down, obviously. After my first film, Death Gasm, I was doing the film circuit, and I ended up in LA meeting with some producers there, and they, asked me, what films do you have, if any other scripts? And I was like, because I've been so busy, working full-time. I was working full-time in Melbourne on VFX, and also, finishing my film, so I had no time to write anything, and I sort of blurted out, Guns Akimbo would take this dude with guns bolted to his hands. And they were like, we love this. When can we see the script? And I said, maybe just give me 2 weeks. And I flew back to Melbourne and, just wrote non-stop. And so 2 weeks later, I sent them the first draft, and, they went for it.
That's amazing. So where did the concept of bolting guns to hands come from? I mean, that's a real hook for most people who see the trailer.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it stemmed, it sort of started with wanting to do a film that was a bit of a homage to, the 80s action classics, all the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone movies, which I've always been a huge fan of. And I wanted to make a movie that was, as over the top and fun as those movies. But, instead of just the normal action hero, I wanted to, choose just a normal guy, just a normal sort of like nerdy nobody. And then I started thinking, well, if he's like a pacifist, he's not going to, he's just going to keep running, right? So why don't we bolt the guns into his hands? And then it's like, he can't get away from the violence, and whenever he goes into a new situation, like tries to call the cops or tries to ends up like confronting gang members, they instantly see him as a threat. So that was the fun thing for me. It's like there's always going to be a lot of conflict and a lot of pace going.
And you couldn't have wrangled a bigger profile than Daniel Radcliffe. How did you manage to snag someone of his caliber?
So I had a short list of like I think 5 actors, and Dan was at the top of that short list. He was. I guess he's someone that's really exciting, not because of he's had this big blockbuster child actor career of the Harry Potter movies, obviously, but the stuff that he's done post Harry Potter I've always found really interesting. It's I'm a lover of like weird cinema, I guess. So movies like Sesame Man and Horns and I was a Woman in Black. They're definitely my sort of films, he struck me as someone that would put 100% into the role and wouldn't balk and wouldn't feel like he was too good for like I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to like test with guns in my hands or whatever. He was just down for it, and so that was my inclination, and he was literally the first person we sent the script to, and I think it was even like a day later. It was really fast. I heard from the producers that had responded really positively to it, and he wanted to Skype, and so I got on a Skype, and I had all these notes. I had like pages of notes. I'm like, man, he's going to ask me all these questions about his character. I've got to be prepared. And he got on the Skype, and he's like, fuck, dude, I fucking love your fucking script, man. He was amazing. Like, and instantly, I saw how much energy he had, and we really needed someone that was willing to take the falls and take the hits, and he loved it. He loved doing his own stunts, and ultra nice guy.
Yeah, I think he's one of the most audacious and fearless actors going around at the moment. I think him and Elijah Wood, they both step outside of their comfort zones and they go for broke.
My friend Dan Timpson's actually got his film. I just saw the posters are side by side in the cinema in New Zealand. His new film's Come to Daddy with Elijah Wood.
Speaking as a short person, it's great to see little people rising up and taking charge.
Totally. Well, I mean, and Dan doesn't even, he comes across as like, having, so he has so much energy, and, he's like, he says to me, no one's going to, I don't get cast as action heroes much. I'm like, man, you should.
I totally agree. And what was it like working with Samara Weaving? Because she's really starting to establish herself at the moment too, especially in America, as, I guess, a bit of a horror queen. How did you get her?
Oh, she was fantastic, yeah. So I'd seen Sam in a bunch of things, and instantly, again, it was one of those people who I could tell that they were willing to go there, and she totally was as well. She, the character of Nyx is obviously, she's like a coke-snorting, murderous psychopath. She kills like 20 guys in like one of the first scenes, spoiler alert. And so, I guess I've been really lucky in my career that I haven't worked with many actors that have sort of had trouble with my material. There was no questions asked. She was like, yep, let's do it, this is awesome. Again, like, so talented and very brave, and the exciting thing was taking someone that hadn't done that sort of role before, and she's very, very slim, obviously, so it was like, I think the producers were talking about, there was a lot of talk about getting actresses that were known for their action roles, right? And I said like, well, Nix, it doesn't make sense because Nix is she's like this junkie psychopath. She needs to be like fairly skinny and yeah.
She kind of reminds me of a Lara Croft femme fatale mixed with a bit of Daryl Hannah from Blade Runner. And then there's like Luc Besson influences thrown in. Where did her look and style come from?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of that. I think her style and look that sort of came from my younger years as like a sort of an industrial punk metalhead, whatever, back in the 90s. Like I'm always drawn to characters, I guess what people would loosely call alternative-looking characters. And my wife Sarah Howden was the costume designer, so not only did she help me with the script, but also she was help me design a really cool look for Nix. I think it was a little bit controversial at first because we were doing some crazy stuff to her. I think someone came up to me and said, "Oh, you can't do the eyebrows; it looks too freaky." Because we bleached her eyebrows up, and I don't know. Like the thing is, Sam had a lot of input into her look as well, and she was like, "No, I totally love this. I love how bold it is, and we didn't want to just do another sort of Harley Quinn thing. And I love Harley Quinn, but at the same time, Nix is she wouldn't spend time making her clothes look cool. she steals clothes. Things just hang off her, like all her stuff's ripped and dirty, and yeah, it was her character definitely defined that look.
Yeah, for sure. Well, those two combined make for a formidable force, I think. That's obviously why you've got such a strong film on your hands.
Yeah, well, thank you.
So that guy is a bit of a legend. He previously made Deathgasm, which was a real surprise cult hit on the horror movie scene. It has that unique New Zealand sensibility. Movies like Housebound, Black Sheep, Brain Dead, they all have that unique New Zealand-esque quality about them. So I thought before we wrap up this part of the show, I would like to talk about New Zealand films.
Yes.
Do you have any favourites?
Well, yeah. I'm just trying to think. I do. So, I mean, obviously Peter Jackson's an obvious one, isn't he? So I think The Lord of the Rings is probably there. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe that was when they got the most attention, I guess, on the world stage.
It's a very, very fair argument to say they are the best New Zealand film of all time.
I would say so. Definitely in terms of impact, influence, success, popularity. I mean, they kind of resonate, don't they? It's been 20 years almost. Incredible.
Scary.
So they're sensational. Are you a fan of that trilogy?
I'm a fan of the first trilogy.
Yeah.
To a lesser extent, the second. Like
Same.
The Hobbit stuff, if they condensed that to one film, it would have been really, really special.
Yeah, I agree. They tried to. You can tell the executives said to him, "Hey, we want another Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
So bring back this character.
Yep.
Insert 50-minute action
Yeah,
sequences."
because originally Guillermo del Toro was going to be directing that.
And it was going to be a two-parter. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, which would have been fascinating to see. But yeah, so yeah, I'd say The Hobbit. Yeah, no, I could take or leave that.
For
but
sure.
The Lord of the Rings, sensational movies. Great action adventure yarns.
I'm a massive fan of New Zealand cinema.
Yeah, you love it.
I mean, going right back to like the piano.
The piano, of
Even
course.
before that, you had Goodbye Pork Pie. That was a really good one. But some of my favourites, obviously, Peter Jackson is a major
Heavenly
player.
Creatures.
Heavenly Creatures is
Of
something
course.
else.
Yeah, that's so disturbing.
I love it.
It's
the
brilliant.
Orson Welles stuff in there. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's right.
So funny.
That was Kate Winslet's sort of moment, wasn't
Yeah,
it? When
you
she
know,
broke in.
I was a teenager in those days, and I remember saying to people that, seeing that film, I just fell for her.
Yeah,
right?
wow.
And I was saying to people, when I'm a director, I'm going to make her famous, right?
Yeah.
And then James Cameron comes along and does it
He
anyway.
kind of scuppered you, didn't he?
Yeah, but look, that is great. Brain Dead, though.
Brain Dead would be right up your alley.
Yeah, very, very influential. Possibly
Yeah.
the funniest horror film ever made.
Yeah,
Certainly the bloodiest.
indeed.
There's one called Navigator, Medieval Odyssey.
Okay.
It's directed by Vincent Ward,
Wow.
who I adore. He made What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams, and he made a great one called Map of the Human Heart, which
Okay.
has John Cusack and a few other
Yeah.
big players. It's a great film. It's a sort of time travel film. It's set
Yeah.
in the Black Plague,
Okay.
and you got these guys tunneling through the earth to escape death. And when they come out, they're in modern Auckland.
Wow.
So they travel through time by digging.
Yeah, wow.
So you've got all these sort of, medieval characters popping out of a manhole in the middle of the freeway, and then their mission is to find a cathedral. So they're following the cross, and that's leading them, and it's just a really wonderful film.
When was that? When was that made?
Like 88, 89,
Okay,
something like that.
wow.
It got a really great release through Umbrella on Blu-ray.
Okay.
Highly, highly recommend that. The same director, Vincent Ward, did one called Vigil as well, which is highly recommended. A Quiet Earth with Bruno Lawrence, about the man that wakes up as the last person on Earth.
I haven't seen that one.
It's once again Umbrella to the rescue, mate.
Umbrella, they're just on it.
A couple more that really resonate with me. One called The Strength of Water.
Yep.
Which is about a young Maori boy and his twin brother who've just gone through a massively traumatic experience. Someone's died in the family, and it's just about them on a beach for most of the film, coming to terms with it and trying to figure out their way in life by themselves. Yeah, really, really powerful stuff. And then last year, there was one called Daffodils, which Jarrett put as his number one.
I have heard of this, yes.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I've watched it 4 times.
Wow.
This year, obviously.
Wow.
First time with Jarrett, because he really wanted to show it to me. I was blown away. Had to buy it. Watched it since like 3 times.
Okay.
It's just wonderful.
I'll have to check this out.
It's a musical. If you've never heard of it, it's based on the most popular New Zealand musical ever made. It's very pop cultural. They use a lot of New Zealand pop songs, Crowded House and all this kind of stuff. No Dave Dobbin.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, Daffodils, it's really, really cool.
What's that Lee Tamahori film? Once
for Warriors.
What do you think of that?
I love it.
It's a good film.
It's a powerful film.
Yeah. It's amazing that man made Die Another Day. It still staggers me. Yeah.
Hi guys, it's Adam here from Adam's Just Seen with a review of Crawl, the new creature feature from director Alexandra Aja, aka the guy that gave us High Tension. Now when Aja busted onto the scene with High Tension, I was like, who the hell is this dude? He was at the forefront of French new wave extremism, basically a bunch of movies that just didn't give a fuck and did not pull any punches and kind of played violence in a really shocking, real, not winking at the audience way. So this guy's always been on my radar, and when I checked out his remake of The Hills Have Eyes, I was like, this dude is serious about disturbing the audience. And now he's made a couple of middling films, but he is back here with Crawl. Now this movie, aka the Alligator Home Invasion movie, seemed destined for straight-to-video kind of infamy, but it was not to be. I went and saw this at the Jam Factory in, a theatrical presentation, and this just shows what an amazing technician Aja is. He takes this, ostensibly silly premise and just turns the screws and just makes an incredibly memorable, nerve-shredding experience. Effectively, while this movie is two-hander, you've got Barry Pepper, aka the sniper from Saving Private Ryan, and you've got Kaya Scodelario as his daughter. And the two of them are stuck in a crawl space in a Florida hurricane, and they've got some very, very unwelcome guests. Everything about this movie works in terms of a technical production. I mean, Aja knows where to put the camera. There are all these kind of visual clues and, and foreshadowing and these red herrings where you just go, what is in the frame here? The sense of the unknown is just palatable in this movie. The sound design absolutely rocks. The elements themselves are scary, but the creatures here, I think, are terrifying. I would say one thing is that I've seen this in a couple of different formats, and I think that the movie is at its most effective when it's kind of, in an impeccable presentation. So I know some people that haven't really bought into this, or that they think that the alligators are a little bit silly or something, but maybe they were watching it low res, or maybe that they were watching it, God forbid, on their phone. But I have seen this, in the way it's meant to be presented, and the thing just works. Aja is having way too much fun here when he decides to pull the pin and decides to show some human, some human chum, some carnage going on, and the way that he kind of, gleefully leans into the violence here just reminded me of, what kind of like a crazy genre filmmaker that he is. So yeah, look, I've seen this thing about 4 or 5 times. I think that it just absolutely works. It would just, if I was working back at the video store, rest in peace, I would just like straight away run to the aisle and be like, you got to check this one out if someone wanted a good, Friday night scare. So this is, as good as a creature feature as we've had for a while. Currently on Amazon Prime and on Foxtel. So I would give this one a rock solid 4 stars. Crawl, check it out.
Live from America's premier horror and paranormal convention, every Friday night, Scarefest Television brings you guests from the horror and paranormal fields, plus featured movie reviews, entertainment features, and short films. Watch us live every week at scarefestradio.com or via Facebook and Twitter by following The Scarefest.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
We are speeding through this episode like a freight train. It's time for recommendations.
Yes.
That crept up. I didn't realize it was so soon.
Yeah, it's going quick.
For some reason, I have not been able to get The Last House on the Left out of my mind. It's been plaguing me all week. I can't figure out why, but I'm not going to recommend that. Because I had something else in mind that I'm going to go to. Have you ever heard of Spirit of the Beehive?
Do you know what? I reckon I actually have.
1973. This is a film that pretty much inspired Guillermo del Toro to make Pan's Labyrinth and The Devil's Backbone. Let me give you a little bit of rundown of this story. It is so good. So it's a Spanish film set in the aftermath of the Spanish Civil War, and it follows a little girl in a remote village who becomes traumatized after a traveling projectionist screens the movie Frankenstein in a local village. And she's traumatized by the scene of the monster killing the little girl.
Yeah.
Which is a great scene in cinematic history. That's a really powerful thing.
Classic.
So this girl becomes really, inquisitive about life and death, starts asking her family questions about mortality.
Yeah.
And her older sister, playing a prank on her, tells her that the monster never died. He's actually a spirit living in their barn. So this girl is fixated on the barn, thinking the monster's in there. But at the same time, there just happens to be a fugitive squatting in the barn, who she befriends, and their relationship becomes very parallel to the Frankenstein story.
Interesting.
It is just a beautiful film. Won't give you any more information than that. It's available on, I think, iTunes to buy or rent. I don't know if you can actually sort of find it on any streaming platforms, but yeah, absolutely stunning film.
Spirit of the Beehive.
Yep.
Good title.
It's a great title.
Another 70s classic from the great era.
Yeah, mate. I did that one just for you.
You did, yeah.
Mind you, Last House on the Left is 70s too.
Yeah.
The reason I think that's been on my mind is because Wes Craven and they've been talking about a Scream sequel this week.
Okay, I missed that.
They're wanting to do Scream 5.
With Wes?
Well, he's dead.
Oh, he's dead. See, I didn't even know.
And that's my problem.
That's good.
This guy shepherded that series from 1 through 4.
When did Wes die?
Oh, he died about 5 years ago.
I feel like I should know this.
You probably should,
So-
but horror's not your bag, mate.
Huh?
I mean, Music of the Heart's the only drama he ever did. And even that's not your bag.
So when Little Richard died, I thought he was already dead. I'm like, oh, this is news to me. Anyway, I do, yeah.
Anyway, that's probably why it's on my mind. And
Yeah.
whatever, let's listen to what you want to recommend.
Wes, may you rest in peace, son. I'm going to recommend a film from Brazil, classic film. We should all know this. Well, I hope we do. It's called City of God.
Oh, yes.
Made in 2002. Directed, I'm going to attempt this surname. Attempted by Fernando Meirelles or something along those. Relis. You know, he's made Constant Gardener. He made The Two Popes recently, The Two Bros. Amazing film. You would have seen this, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like this is almost a little bit of a forgotten classic now. That might be unfair, but when it came out and in like the 5 years post release, it was like very present in the film culture. It was a classic. It was one of those must sees. I feel like now it's faded a little bit.
I completely agree because there are films like that from that era that, like I think a Rosie Perez film that she made, Amoris or something.
Oh yeah. I
the
know
one
that.
I'm
Yeah,
talking
of
about.
course.
I hate it when I can't think of the names.
Yeah.
Anyway, these films for a good 5 to 10 years were like right up there with must see lists and all this.
That's right.
And now they're just forgotten. Can't even remember their names.
Like on the stage, like what was that? I know slightly. Goodbye Lenin. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
That was like again in that era. That's a great film, but in that era, I should recommend.
That's going to happen to the death of Stalin.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
reckon that'll be forgotten too.
It'll fade out.
Goodbye Lenin though, that gave us
Daniel Bruhl.
Yeah,
Great film.
It was a fantastic
But it was so present in the film culture for a few years, and now it seems to have sort of been forgotten about. But yeah, this film, if you haven't seen this movie, you need to see it immediately. It is very Scorsese-esque. It's probably like the foreign, cinema's answer to Goodfellas, I guess. It's a true story. It's pretty confronting. Hey, I hadn't seen it in years. It's amazingly entertaining, but it packs a punch. I think I used to watch it over and over when I was in school. I must have been desensitized to some of the violence. It's pretty confronting. Remember the scene where they make the kid shoot himself in the foot.
Yeah.
Like this little kid, I'm like, fire. Oh, he has to choose where.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, that's brutal.
It is.
It's basically, it's about the slums of Rio. True story about a gang war that took place. It all happens through a young man, like the eyes of his young man called Rocket, who's like a good boy. He's a photographer. He wants to get out of the slums, and he witnesses a gang war, basically amongst his peers. So there's the villain, little Z. I think his name is Little Dice when he's a kid, and this guy called Knockout Ned. They have a massive gang war, and it's amazing. It's epic. It's all true. It's just kind of witnessing what happened. Imagine growing up there. It puts you right in the heart of the violence, but it's also incredibly engaging, entertaining. It's got that rock and roll style filmmaking that Scorsese made popular. And all the actors, a lot of them are just locals.
Yeah.
Which gives it a real air of authenticity. So it's very authentic. The guy that plays the main antagonist is amazing. I don't know if he's done anything since. The man should have been picked up by Hollywood. He was incredible in this film. So make sure to see it. City of God.
Long overdue for a repeat viewing.
Oh, it is. It's a stone cold classic. And I'm on a mission to bring it back into the consciousness of world cinema.
You know, we all live over a trap door. You never know who's going to be next, am I right? And I guess you know by now, if you're watching this, I'm already dead, or else I've disappeared somewhere and am considered dead. Maybe we should make a less fun version of this in case I have some tragic death which involves a closed casket or something.
We've got prizes to give away.
Yeah, goody.
So the mystery prize pack for our episode from last week goes to Dave Dux or Dukes. DUX. Dave left us some great feedback on YouTube, and there's a trend. People are starting to come out of the woodwork, and I'm really, really thrilled. So thanks to everyone that's interacting with us. Really means a lot. Keith and I talk about this throughout the week, and we're pretty chuffed,
We are.
So thanks for all of your support. We've got more movies to give away, so just keep on interacting with us. That's all you have to do. Like, comment, share, all of the above, any of the above, and you can win some stuff next week.
Yeah.
Another recurring motive that we've talked about over the weeks with the whole COVID-19 thing is the resurgence of the drive-in culture.
Yes.
So I read last week that the Luna Drive-In in Dandenong, which is in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, we reach far and wide.
We do.
During this COVID phase, they've just spent $3 million on a new snack bar.
Hang on, is that serious?
Dead set serious.
Wow.
I know that reporting on snack bars is not exactly what we do here.
No.
But this is exciting. The fact that they've invested money in something like a snack bar shows that there is real life within the culture of drive-ins. Hopefully this revival that we've been talking about, really, really takes hold.
That is the harbinger of things to come, Glenn. This snack bar, Renault, could be... It could be the rallying cry of the drive-in.
The snack bar looks incredible. It's like a full-on diner with booths and all that.
Wow.
Obviously, the booths can't be open until restrictions lift.
Yeah.
In fact, the drive-ins are just waiting for the go-ahead to open.
Yeah, which they should be already.
Obviously, they should already. But anyway, I thought that was really, really well worth noting. They also spent a lot of money, apparently, on extending the entrance to 2 lanes to
It's great.
2-ticket booths, funnel those cars in quicker.
So they're anticipating high numbers. So I'm going to go to that snack bar and pick up a quality Earl Grey before viewing some fine mise-en-scène in my car.
Did you hear that, people? He tried to just sneak a little jab in there.
It's a little twist of the knife.
So, yeah, all of you listening, go visit your nearest drive-in cinemas as soon as possible. I'm sure there are some near you. They've had it rough for the last decade or so, so I think we should really pump them up.
That's right.
Another episode comes to a close. Oh, well.
Always a pleasure, never a chore, Glenn.
We want to thank all of our friends for delivering another week of the goods. Adam, Ross, Guillermo from Screen Realm. Massive thanks to Ben Helwig from Monster Pictures for taking over from Jarrett while he's been away.
Yeah.
It's been some good stuff,
It's
mate.
been great.
Jarrett will be back next week, and we look forward to that. So please keep chatting with us on Facebook. Tell your friends about us. Please come back next week for the second part of my chat with Jason Lei Howden. Thanks heaps, Keith.
My pleasure.
It's been another good show.
It's been a quality
I feel
one.
like this one is a speedball.
Ooh, dang.
And this week's sign-off is another track from the Guns Akimbo soundtrack. It's called Original Grey, composed by Innes Rodoff. Have a good week, everyone, and we'll catch you next week on Good Movie Monday.
Take care.